Hey, this is Scott from What You Seek, and today I am going to be looking at the SB02 from the French company Satori Billard. And you can see this is a really sporty carbon fiber watch here. Or how about a classy version with a tortoise shell bezel along with this beautiful tan custom strap? Or how about this monochromatic version with a matte stainless steel bezel and a gray strap? Well, okay, so you get the idea. This watch, the SB02 from Satori Billard, has an interchangeable bezel. Now they have, I'm gonna set the watch down here. There's a variety of different bezel materials. This tortoise and then the blue here. I'll set these down. They have a carbon fiber. Let's see if it focuses. There we go. So we have carbon fiber. We have a polished stainless steel, and then we have a black stainless steel bezel. And it's held in with 4 screws. So the 4 screws become an accent piece. You know, if I put this black one on, you'll see that well, you won't because the screws are underneath, but maybe during the review I'll change out the bezels as we go through this. But the screws, depending on the bezel, can be an accent piece or kind of blend in the way they do on this matte bezel here. It's super easy to change. They give you a little screwdriver. It's, I believe it's called a Torx, at least that's in the US what we call it, head. Super easy to change out those screws. So let's get into all the specifics on this SB02. So the diameter here is 39 millimeters, but it's 39 from here to here. It's a cushion type of a case shape, so it's not round, obviously. So the height is 12 millimeters. We have a lug to lug of 45. We have a strap width of 18. The case material is stainless steel. We have brushed on the sides. We have some polished on the back. It is a solid case back. The case is rated to 100 meters water resistance. It has a signed crown here. Let's see, can I get into, ooh, there we go. So we have the logo in the middle of the crown there, which is recessed, and it is kind of a matte finish. It has a nice knurling on the crown, easy to change the time or to wind the watch. And like I was saying, the bezel is interchangeable. So the look that we have right now can easily be changed. The straps that they sell with it is a quick change straps. Now, a word about the straps. I mentioned that it is an 18 millimeter strap width, but if you look at the straps, they have a cutout to accommodate this case shape so that the form of this watch really blends right into the case shape, which I like. The design, I feel, is very, very well thought out. As we look at it, in the way I've been showing it on camera here, we've been looking straight down at the watch. So this part is a circle from your eye. But when we look at it from the side, we can see the case, this bezel shape, how it has this scallop to it. This is a scallop. It goes high on the sides. It's lower here, but then the case shape, because of the way that this is shaped, this arc, it meets up to the height of the bezel, but then down here, it reveals more of the bezel. Now, this bezel is a brushed bezel that goes around, but it has a chamfer that's polished. We have this 45-degree chamfer, and that really helps to pick up the light and give a little sparkle to the watch. So let's move on to the dial on this Satori Billard SB02. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that the dial material, the center portion, has this translucent quality to it, and so you can see through to the movement underneath. Kind of interesting. There's not much to see. It's the top half of the movement, and you just see a couple openings and some screws, but definitely a little interesting. As we move out from this translucent material, around the edge, we have a stainless, well, I'm not sure in the material, I'm guessing like a stainless steel, but it is a sunray brushed finish. And then we have applied indices. And the indices here, they have polished edges, so it picks up the light really nice. It has green lume in the inside. Now, these are small, and so the lume is not huge. There's not a lot of material for the lume. You know, it's not a tool watch per se. On the outside of the indices here, we have a railroad track, and then we have some small numbers here for the minutes, 5, 10, 15, and so on, all the way around. We do have a date at 3, the logo up here, and then some minimalist text, the brand name, and then the model number. The hands, these are a polished hand with lume both on the hour and the minute, and they do have a bevel to it, so they will pick up the light. Let's see, as you move the different angles. There we go. You can see the left side kind of pick up the light there. The second hand here is polished all the way. So let's get the SB02 on my wrist. So here is the SB02 on the wrist. And I have a 7¼ inch wrist, which is about 18.5 centimeters. And I will say the SB02 is very comfortable. I think they nailed the size. What did I say? It's 39 millimeters across here. And for this case shape, I think that works really well. But I think where it really shines is when it's on the wrist and you're looking down at these angles. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But when you start to experience all these curves and the way that it sits on your wrist with that arc across there like that, the very short lugs pulling down on the strap, it's a nice wearing experience. And as you can see, I changed the bezel to a black bezel. This is the DLC coating, and I changed the strap, and it took me, I don't know, all of 3 minutes to change that out. So very comfortable, but very, I guess, pleasurable. I would wear it, and then I kept looking down at the different angles and the way it would catch light with the different bezels, the way this part pops even more, this bezel and the shape of the bezel, because I changed to this black bezel here. So wearing experience overall has been very nice. The one thing I will say, the movement in here, the Miyota movement, it is a little noisy when you're wearing it. So it's kind of similar to anybody that has a 7750 chronograph. When you're sitting around, it's very quiet. Say you're reading and you move your wrist to change the page on the book, and you kind of hear the rotor spinning. Same kind of experience with this. So overall, very comfortable, very nice, well-constructed case here. I've changed the bezel, and we now have a polished steel bezel on there. It gives a completely different look. And then we have this sand-colored strap on here. Now, the movement in here is an automatic mechanical movement. It's a Miyota 8215. The 8215's been around since the late 70s. It's a robust movement, plenty of parts available. It has a power reserve of about 40 hours. And like I mentioned when I talked about the dial, it does have a date feature, and it is a quick set date. One thing I don't know if I mentioned is all the different angles, and we can see the angle here. Look at the crystal. Let me see if I can get in any closer. The crystal, which is a sapphire crystal, has a dome to it. So there is another subtle arc, if you will, to the whole design cue of this, the way that arc of the dome crystal will set in on the sides here. So definitely another function of its design. So if I could play watch designer for a day, what would I change? Nitpicking here, probably the movement. I know they use the 8215 Miyota movement to keep it into a particular price point, and it's a new company and all that. But I'd love to see perhaps an upgraded movement in that, something a little more refined. The transparent dial, yeah, I'm not sure. It's interesting, and they do have a different dial option. They have a darker, I believe they call it an anthracite. So that may be personally more my preference with the look of this watch. What I love about it is the attention to detail. You can really feel this watch, every single part has been obsessed over and changed and thought over and again. It is unique, the case shape, the short lugs, definitely the way that the different swoops here of the bezel with the crown, the way everything fits together is fun and unique. The interchangeable bezel is huge, and it actually took me a while, thanks to the folks at Sartori Billard. I've had this watch for a little longer than I usually have a watch, and the first couple weeks I didn't change the bezel for some reason. Yeah, I knew it. You can do all this and change, and then once I started changing the bezel, it's like, whoa, it really is a whole new watch. I mean, my advice would be that if you do buy this watch, and I'm not being paid by this company in any way, shape, or form, but don't buy it without buying a couple bezels. It really, and I use that word really a lot, but it definitely changes the look and the feel of the watch. I mean, this one here with the polished and then the sand color gives it more of an elegant, refined look. I could see this going out on an evening on a Saturday night or something, and then sporty with the carbon fiber and so on. You really get the idea. The quick change straps makes it very easy to change. I will say thumbs up to these guys for putting an engraved solid case back on. I think with a lot of watches in this price range, small brands, they'll put an exhibition case back, and there's really nothing fancy to see on some of these entry-level movements. So I much prefer seeing a solid case back with some nice design, some nice engraving on there. So my takeaway with the Sartori Billard SB02 is this is a nice, sporty, or dress watch that you can customize however you want at a very reasonable price. The design is unique while still being subtle. It doesn't hit you over the head with its design and, hey, look at me. It's something that you notice after wearing it and being around it for a little time. The prices, they vary depending on the type of bezel that you're getting. They start about €540, which is a great price. And then, like I said, that would be your starting point, and then add some different bezels. And the bezels, for the most part, I think run in the €30 range. The straps run in the €30 range. So, you could easily get this watch, get a different bezel and a different strap, and be, just a little over €600. So this is the Sartori Billard SB02. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe and leave comments below. Thanks for watching.